Welcome viewers. I am Sriram Vasudan Rao, working as an assistant professor in Chebrol Engineering College in H&S department. So, in this lecture, I would like to discuss about the hysteresis in ferromagnetic materials. In the last lecture, I had given explanation about the domain theory of ferromagnetism. So, what are the domains? What makes the domains to exist in the ferromagnetic materials, and what happens to the domains in the presence of external field? All those about the domain theory has explained in the last lecture. So actually these are the series of lectures on magnetic properties. So to have a complete knowledge on the magnetic properties, kindly follow all the series of lectures. So kindly follow the series of lectures. Let us start this session. So hysteresis and permanent magnetization. So what is hysteresis? So hysteresis means generally loss. Hysteresis means generally loss. Already we have discussed in the properties of ferromagnetic materials, as well as this phenomena also takes place in ferrimagnetic materials also. So to know about these loss, how the loss has happened. So we have taken the magnetic field strength on x-axis and the magnetic induction on y-axis. So let us understand clearly. We have taken the magnetic field strength on the x-axis and the magnetic induction on the y-axis. So as we are applying the magnetizing field, automatically the specimen will turn into magnet. That means it got magnetized. So for the stage 1, so this is unmagnetized. So here this is the point. This is in the unmagnetized stage. Suppose we now if we apply the magnetic field strength to the specimen, okay, now if we apply the magnetic field strength to the specimen, what will happen? Look at the graph, you can simply understand. So what you have seen, as we have applied the magnetic field strength, it increases slowly. So it increases slowly and reaches a certain point, or generally it is called stage 2. So the magnetization gradually increases and stops. If we further apply the magnetic field, it cannot magnetize it. It gets stopped here, the point. This is stage 2. That means apply H aligned domains. All the domains are aligned in the same direction. That means the material, the specimen gets saturated with the applied field. So simple, I am explaining in simple. In again stage 1, there is no applied field at all. If we generally applying the magnetic field strength, it will slowly increases and reaches a saturation level. That means apply H align the domains, all the domains are aligned in the field direction, it gets saturated. So it gets saturated. It gets saturated. If we increase the field, it will not increase because of it already get saturated. So stage 1 is simple, unmagnetized. Stage 2 is simply saturated, align domains. So in the next step, what we have done, we have simply remove simply removed all the applied field. So look at this arrow carefully. We have simply removed all the applied field. What happened is this graph comes to here? No, this comes to this point. Okay, please observe this carefully. So from stage 2 it gets at stage 2 it gets saturated. So at stage 2 what we have done, we have completely removed the applied field. So it follows like this and stop there. The green arrow, it is not reaches this point, it had reached this point. So this is, so there is some, if we look at the y-axis, there is some length, means the length means here what we have taken in the y-axis, magnetic induction. So there was some, as there was some length, that means there is some magnitude, there is some magnetic induction in the material. So even though we have removed all the applied field, there is some magnetic induction. So this is called remanence or remanent flux. Simply look at that. This is called remanence or remanent flux density. So even though we have taken all the field, there is some residual magnetism left in the specimen. So this is called generally remanence or remanent flux density. So it becomes permanent magnet. So this is the stage 3. So please carefully listen to the sentences. At stage 1 it is in unmagnetized state. So we are applying the field, it slowly increases and gets saturated at stage 2. So from stage 2 what we have done, we have simply removed all the applied field. So all the applied field, it reaches a point, that means at stage 3 even though we have removed the applied field, the magnetization does not become 0. That means the graph does not reach this origin, it has some height in the y-axis. Height means magnetic induction. In simple words, the height means magnetic induction. So even though we have removed the magnetic field, applied magnetic field, there is some residual magnetism left in the specimen. So this behaves like a permanent magnet. So now our aim is to remove this magnetism also. So now our aim is to remove this magnetization also. So in order to remove the residual magnetism, now we have applied field in the opposite direction. So this is the opposite, this is the positive direction, this is the negative direction. So this is so stage 4. So we have applied the field. So field means always look at the x-axis. For magnetization always look at the y-axis. This is the simple understanding the concept. So for applying the field, look at the x-axis. For magnetization in the specimen, simply look at the y-axis. So in this direction we have applied, from here we have applied from negative field, this is opposite direction. So whenever we have applied the negative field, the curve reaches this point, this curve from here to reaches this point. So this point means this is 0, this is 0. That means here b value is 0. Graphically I am explaining, here b value is 0. That means the magnetization has completely removed. So the magnetization has completely removed. So in order to remove this magnetizing field inside the specimen, we have applied this amount of field, please look at this carefully, this is the residual magnetization or remanence. So in order to remove that magnetism, we have applied this field in the x-axis. So this is called generally coercivity or coercive field. So this opposite field is called generally coercivity or coercive field. Here we can simply look at negative H needed to demagnetize. So simply technically this is magnetize, this is demagnetize. So this amount of field is needed to remove the magnetization, that means simply to demagnetize it. So whenever we have, if we apply the field from here also, what will happen? Look at the graph carefully. So further applying the field in this opposite direction, so further applying the field in this opposite direction, the graph becomes like this. That means it is saturated in the opposite direction. Look at this point, stage 5, apply minus H, aligned domains. Aligned domains means in the field direction. Please while watching this slide, please note it as, whenever here aligned domains means the domains are completely aligned in the field direction. So this means it is saturated in the opposite direction. This means this is saturated in the opposite direction. Here also there is apply H aligned domains. So this is saturated in positive direction. So here this is saturated in opposite direction. Okay, that is minus H means opposite. This is in one direction, this is to that of opposite direction. This is stage 5. If we further increasing the field, what will happen? So if we further increase the field, what happen? You have look at it. So simply it reaches, it travels and reaches here the saturation point. So by completing a cycle, so this is a cycle. Generally the whole graph is we can obtain by applying the magnetic field in a cycle. So this is the process of magnetization and demagnetization by applying a magnetic field in a cycle. So please look at it carefully. Stage 1, what happened in unmagnetized state? So from stage 1 we have applied the field, it slowly increases and reaches here, that means stage 2. That means it is apply H all the aligned domains, that means it is completely aligned in the field direction, that is saturated. That means saturate, the material gets saturated in the stage. From stage 2 to stage 3, what we have done? From stage 2 to stage 3, simply we have removed the externally applied field. Simply you have removed the externally applied field, then it reaches here the arrow, stage 3. That means the magnetization does not becomes 0, it has certain value, that means there is some magnetism inside the specimen, so it acts as a permanent magnet. So stage 3 remains permanent magnet. So now our concept is to remove this permanent magnetism also. So we have applied from stage 4 field in the opposite direction, So what happened from stage 4? Hc, negative H needed to demagnet. This is called magnetization, this is called demag. For removing the magnetization, we have applied this negative field in the x direction. So after applying some field, this graph becomes here. So it travels from this and enter this point. At this point the magnetic induction was 0, that means the magnet becomes demagnetized. So the amount of field needed to demagnetize is called generally coercivity or coercive field. So here the material gets demagnetized. At this point the material gets demagnetized. Suppose now what we have done from here also, we have increased the field in opposite direction. So after a certain amount of field, it gets saturated again in the opposite direction. So this is the positive direction, this is the negative direction. Again it gets saturated in opposite direction. So whenever we have increased the field, so it in stage 6 it travels like this and reaches this saturation point. So for a cycle of applied field, the graph was like this. So it gets started here, but not return to this point, but return to this point. That means it is not linearly varying with the H. So we are applying the external field H. The material gets magnetizing as B. That means the relation between H and B is not linear. That means not directly proportional. Even though we are giving the field, it is not utilizing completely. So there is some lagging. So there is some lagging in using that field. So that lagging is technically here termed as loss. So generally the hysteresis means loss. So there is a non-linear relationship. Simply you can say that non-linear relationship. So this is the variation of B with H in ferro. It will happen also in ferrimagnetic materials also. So domains in ferromagnetic and ferrimagnetic materials. Domains in ferromagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. So simply using the domain concept, I am explaining in a one stage. Simple, you can simply understand by that. So we have taken the applied magnetic field in x-axis, x direction, and the resultant magnetization, magnetic induction in y direction. So in the initially there is no magnetization. So whenever we have applied the field, it slowly increases and gets saturated. So what it technically means, so if we look at carefully at the domains here, at the initial stage the domains are in random direction. So whenever we are applying the magnetic field, the domains are rotating. Look at the series of domains. See, the domains are rotating. Finally all the domains are turned into a single domain. Even turns into a single domain, and that single domain is finally aligned in the field direction. Look at this pointer. Finally all the domains rotates, and the domains all are converted into a single domain, and finally the single domain is aligned in the field direction. That means it gets saturated. There is no further movement of domain at all. So this means it is gets saturated. So even if we have increased the applied field from here, it does not move. That means the graph stays here only. So that is the saturation point. This is the saturation point. This is the saturation point. So you can, once you have to listen the explanation, after you have to just watching the slides and look at the diagrams. You can simply frame your own explanation, and you can simply write in the examination with concept. That is the simple technique of understanding the concept. So generally this is called BH curve. B here, this is BH curve. So generally this is called BH curve. So here this is the BH curve. Already I had explained, but there were no points in the last slide. So using here the points, if we remember in terms of points, you can simply understand the concept. So this is the initial stage O. From O to, when we have increased the field, it gets O to A. So it gets saturated here. From A, what we have done, from A, at point A it gets saturated. That means all the domains are aligned in the field direction. From A we have simply removed all the applied field. The graph follows from A to B. So what happened at B? At B there is some magnetism. So it is, the length means there is some value. That means there is magnetism left inside the specimen. So now what is our concept? We have to remove this magnetism. So what we have done, we have applied field in this direction, OC. OC is the field we have applied in opposite direction. So whenever we have applied the amount of field OC, the graph follows from B to C. That means the magnetism has left, or it becomes zero. That technically it gets demagnetized. So from here, when we increase the field further in opposite direction, it reaches again in saturation in opposite direction. Look at it carefully. Saturation in opposite direction. So from here, if we increase the field further, it will follow this like D, E, F, A, and finally after the completion of cycle, it again reaches at A. So it has started from O and ends at A. So it will follow like this. So what are the major things here you have to remember? Here is OB. OB is retentivity. OB is retentivity. OC is coercivity. OB is retentivity. That means the magnetic field remained inside the material even though applied field is zero. OC is the amount of field needed to demagnetize the material. So that is the main things you have to remember. OB is the retentivity, OC is the coercivity. So it has started from O and not returned to O. It has ended at finally A. So this is also the same graph, but for your simple understanding, I am again giving another slide. So this is the saturation from here to this point. This is the saturation level of magnetization. So as we have seen in the previous slide, this is the remanence or retentivity. Whatever the term it is, you have to remember it carefully. Remanence or retentivity, that means residual magnetic flux density inside the specimen. So this is the retentivity or remanence. So what we have, in order to remove this remanence or retentivity, what we have done, we have applied field in the opposite direction. So whenever we have applied field from here to here, automatically the remanence automatically the remnants got cancelled. That means the material becomes demagnetized. So this is the remnants. This is the coercivity or coercive force, whatever the term is generally. So once again I am explaining simple from graph. This is the saturation, maximum magnetization that can retain generally in the specimen. So this is the saturation, this is the remnants. That means if the applied field is removed to 0, this is remnants. This length is the coercivity. That much of field you have to apply in opposite direction to demagnetize the specimen. Okay, so this is another explanation using different slide. Simply you can practice these graphs. Even with the graphs also you can explain in own words. In examinations you can get full marks, no doubt at all. So as we have know about the terms in the previous slides, retentivity means simply residual magnetic flux density. Residual magnetic flux density. Retentivity means residual magnetic flux density. Coercivity means field needed to remove residual magnetic flux density. So this is the magnetization left in the specimen. This is the field needed to remove that magnet. So this is called magnetization. Simply this is called demagnetization. So this is retentivity, this is coercivity. So this is the same graph as explained. So it has started from O and not returned to O, it returned to A. So these are the some important points you have to remember carefully. So these are the important points you have to remember carefully. So the graph has started from O, this is O, and travels along O, A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So that is the sentence we are looking at. It starts from O and travels along O, A, B, C, D, E, F, A. O, A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So does not return to O. So it does not return to O. It ends at A. So it is a irreversible process. Reversible means it has to come back at the same point where it has started, but it does not happen like that. It has started from O and finally reaches at A after following O, A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So it is a irreversible process. These points you have to remember carefully. So it starts from O, travel along A, O, A, B, C, D, E, F, A, does not return to O. So what we can conclude from that, it is a irreversible process. So it is a reversible process. The process of magnetization and demagnetization by changing H is an irreversible process. So all this has happened by changing the applied field in a cycle, in a alternate cycle. So the area of hysteresis loop represents the loss of energy per cycle. So already I had explained in the slide where there are 6 stages. So what is literally the area of hysteresis loop represents loss of energy per cycle. So what happens here practically is already we know that the transformers, what is the use of transformers? The transformers are used to step up or step down the voltages. So that is the main applications of transformers, step up and step down. So generally these are mainly used for AC currents. For AC currents, what will happen? There is an alternating current, means it is changing in a cycle. It has positive peak and a negative peak. So these ferromagnetic materials are used in the cores of transformers. The soft iron is used in the cores of transformers. So whenever we have applied, there are two windings, primary winding and secondary winding. For primary winding we are applying input. For secondary winding we are taken output. So that means we are applying alternating current. So whenever there is a current, there is a magnetic field. So while applying alternating current, there is a change of alternating magnetic field. That means the alternating magnetic field acts on the core. Core is nothing but ferromagnetic materials. That means the core alternatingly gets magnetized and demagnetized. So while the process is going on, what happens? The domains are aligning in the field direction in a positive cycle and aligning oppositely in the field direction in opposite direction. So continuously the process is going on. So generally the cycle was 50 Hz. We know that the frequency of that cycle is 50 Hz. That means per second the domains are changing 50 times. The domains are changing 50 times. So whenever the domains are changing, there is a friction between the domains. So due to the friction, what will happen? The heat is erased. So the heat is nothing but the loss of energy. So here the loss of energy appears as heat in the material. So in order to remove the heat, we are applying oils, coolants to the transformers. So the practical application of this hysteresis loop is to select the materials which are having very less loss of energy or the suitable loss of energy for the practical application. So this is the practical application of hysteresis loop. So literally the loss of energy appears in the form of heat. So I have given you the practical application where actually the hysteresis loop is useful. Okay, so the area of the hysteresis loop represents the loss of energy per cycle. So per cycle means for AC cycle, that means there is a positive peak and there is a negative peak. That is the complete cycle. That means so basing on the hysteresis area of hysteresis loop. So basing on the area of hysteresis loop, the magnetic materials are the ferromagnetic materials are generally classified into two types. Basing on the area of hysteresis loop, the ferromagnetic materials are generally classified into two types. One is soft ferromagnetic materials and another one is hard ferromagnetic materials. So if you look at this graph, BH curve or BH loop, generally called BH loop, BH loop or BH curve. This curve is generally called hysteresis curve. So if you look at the graphs carefully, for the soft ferromagnetic material, the area of loop is small when compared to the hard. For hard, the area of loop is high. For soft, the area of loop is less. So for practical purpose, we have to choose the area of the hysteresis loop based on the application. So this is for soft, this is the BH loop for soft ferromagnetic materials. This is the BH loop for hard ferromagnetic materials. So here for soft magnetic materials, the coercive force is small. For soft ferromagnetic materials, the coercive force is small. So what is the importance of coercive force? Already I had explained throughout this video. Coercive field means the field which needed to remove the magnetization. The field which needed to remove the magnetization or retentivity is called coercive field or coercivity. So what is the meaning of small coercive force? So even so for applying a small coercive field, the material gets simply demagnetized. So these are having very soft nature. So even for very small fields, it loses its magnetization. That's why it is termed as soft ferromagnetic material. Whereas if you look at this material, what is this? Hard ferromagnetic material. So the coercive force, the arrow, the length of arrow is very high. That means we have to give very high amount of field. So then only it will lose its magnetization. That means we have to give high amount of magnetic field, then only it will lose its magnetization. So that's why it is termed as hard ferromagnetic material. So what is the basis for classification of these two types? The primary cause is the area of the loop, and the second cause is the amount of coercive field. So I will explain in its applications and some information in next lecture. So for as we are discussing about the hysteresis loop, for that only I am giving this classification. In the next lecture, I will give you the complete information about these two types of materials and applications and examples. So hysteresis curve, generally these are some points. Already I have given explanation, but some points, the conclusion points, you can take it as the conclusion points. Hysteresis curves means lagging or retarding of an effect behind the cause of the effect. Here effect means B, cause means H. Effect means here effect is the sorry for the inconvenience. Effect is the magnetization, cause is the applied magnetic field. Effect is the magnetization, cause is the applied field. So generally this is the technical sentence, means lagging or retarding of an effect behind the cause of that effect. So retarding means in slow motion, in one simple word, the slow motion. So as already explained in the video in prior times, retarding. So BH, it is not a linear relationship. We are giving H, but the B is not following H in line with that. So it gets lagging. That means it is in slow motion. It is in general words, it is in forward motion. It is not catching that point. So here effect is B, cause of effect is H. So it is here also we have written effect is B, cause of effect is H, also called BH curve. So hysteresis in magnetic materials means lagging of magnetic induction or magnetization behind the magnetic field. So this is the simple points you have to remember carefully while these are generally called as conclusions. So this is all about hysteresis curve or BH loop in ferromagnetic materials. Generally it also occurs in ferromagnetic materials, but generally the major importance was given to ferromagnetic materials. So this is all about hysteresis curve. So thank you viewers for watching this video. So once you have to watch the video and listen the explanation carefully. After that, without listening to the explanation, by viewing the slides, you can simply understand the concept, and with the diagrams and graphs you can simply frame your own words and you can get the full marks also. So thank you once again.